Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Toolkit product update webinar. My name is Ines, and I will be your host for today's session. So today we are really excited to share the latest updates in two of our Toolkit for M Files add-ons, Extension Kit for M Files and AI Document Kit for M Files. The one who will tell you all the details about these updates will be Unitfly's COO, Alan DeBiaggi. After Alan's presentation, we will have a Q&A session as always. So, of course, feel free to share your thoughts, to leave any comments or ask questions in the chat box. Before we actually get started, I just want to tell you that this webinar is being recorded and that the recording will be available for you later on, as we will send you the link in a follow-up email. So now I believe we are ready to get started. Alan, can you join us now, please? Hi, Alan.
Yeah, you can hear me. Great.
Yes, welcome. And you can take over now.
Thank you. I'm glad that I can see a lot of people here that are interested in our product and hopefully using at least one of those products. I'll start with the presentation. This is the latest product update for the extension kit 24.11 and AI document kit 0.5. So I'll start with introduction to our new versioning scheme. So we are aligning with the M files. So we will our next release will be named per year, per month, and then the last digit is bug fix. So that means that the next version, or not next version, that current version, it's basically 24.11, or how people would say when they change their surname on Facebook, X 5.4.2. So now we will talk about what we've done new in this current version of the extension kit. So we added 3 new modules. Basically, we added 2 new modules. One is just renamed, and we added different features inside of that. So we have archiving module. That means that you can now compress and decompress files. That means, for example, you can create a zip file inside of the M files and save it to some source that can be inside of the M files or on some shared drive or SFTP. And in other way, you can import unzipped file and then save that files inside the M files, either as each file a new object or everything in one multi-file. And also you can import it from SFTP disk, or that zip file can be also inside of the M files. Then you will unzip it and also store it in the M files. That's regarding the archiving module. New module is also Insights. Insights allows you to save the configurations. I'll have that on the next slide, so I'll talk briefly more on the next slide. And the object creator is now named object operation. That means that now the same action that you already had regarding the create, now we added a new functionality, and we will add here more functionality regarding the objects. Now you have also a duplicate. That means that you can duplicate the same object many times. That means if you need to create some schedule for certain reminders, tests, and so on, you can now duplicate existing object and then create it as many times as you want. Also with the existing functions that object copy had, like creating from templates and so on. So, and the third one, insights, sorry, the first or the second one that I mentioned, the insights you are able to save configuration, the extension kit configuration to disk, to vault, to named value storage, and also we as we are using SEC for monitoring, we also added something in configuration that we are able to save changes, just our audit of all changes inside of the SEC. But this means that, for example, on the disk, you are able to save the configuration and also the changes, and also in the vault you can configure that you will save the exact configuration of the vault and all the metadata. So now because when more than one people is configuring the extension kit or anything inside of the mfiles admin, sometimes it happens that you override currently saved configuration. So maybe I saved one version, and people who had opened the mfiles admin also didn't refresh it, so he saved, and then all my changes are lost. Now on every change, this will be saved. And now we added the new functionalities, different modules. I'll go module by module. Quickly commented that if you have more question, you can ask me about it inside of the chat, so I will answer at the end of this presentation, or we can talk about it at the end of the presentation. So in document processing, we added a split document feature. That means that you are now able to split document by page, by some so one page for every 2 page on a certain number of page. For the next version of the extension kit, we are also adding that this number, how we would like to split the page, will be dynamic. Now it's fixed. We also added a new functionalities to encrypt and decrypt the file. Currently, we are supporting Word and PDF files. Basically, that means that it will have a password, not actual crypt and decrypt, but you will choose the algorithm that will be decrypted with that password. It's encrypting and decrypting, but not in the full sense. So in the HTTP integration, we added that you can now execute the schedule or rule without a trigger. That is mostly used for scheduling options, so that you don't need to have a trigger. Now you can just execute the HTTP integration and get, for example, certain projects, clients, and so on from different services. Now in previous modules, in previous version, you needed to add a little hack so that only one object is triggered, that kind of scheduling. But now this is also supported. In few almost in all modules, we added set static add options to when the action is finished. So we also, in the Excel reader, you will see in the orchestrator also. So when rule is finished, when the rule is done, you can set static options to a certain property. We also added in SQL, we also added file ID and GUID options that weren't available before. Inside of the word writer, we added functionality to insert a table from the Excel. That is really cool feature. Now you can create some certain tables in the Excel, and then just for the reporting, you can insert that inside of the Word template. And also now we can calculate all date properties inside of extended auto properties. We added extended operators for dynamic search in the specify search. Also added encryption or option in data transfer. That means that now when you are importing files from the disk or SFTP, those files can be also encrypted so that nobody except the people who know the password can access the files. We for the, let's say, people who are using the extension kit extensively, they will recognize few things that we added, like supporting an operator in dynamic search condition in trigger source objects. Now you could only use AND operators in built-in and built-in functionality of the configurator. And when you wanted to use dynamic search, everything was like in or operator, this or this or this. Now you can choose whether you would like to use or and now with that change you can cover all these different scenarios. So I think we covered all the scenarios that can be done with the search. Also from this version, you don't need to unzip the installation and then import it inside of the VFE application. You can import it directly. It will be mf-appx. And also we enable that wall search can now be used inside of the orchestrator. So this is the current version. We with the new UI framework, we started working on it. We waited that for I think 2 years now, but now it's out, and we started immediately working on the UI framework. So this is our first. In the next version, it will be our first UI module out, and that will be embedded dashboards. That means that in the you will also configure that inside of the extension kit. In the similar way that you are configuring rules now, but now you will define the dashboard. You will define on which action dashboard is shown, or it's always shown, and you will be able to embed the certain URL inside it. There are some limitation of it, and those limitations are not mfiles based. Basically, they are security based, and it's based on the service that you are embedding. So we will write that inside of documentation. And if this service is not worldwide, probably it will allow you to embed it inside of the mfiles, but some of the worldwide services doesn't allow embedding inside of the frames and dashboards like this. So, but that's something that I can show you more in the next version update. So this is our new UX module. We have more UX stuff planned. So in the next quarter, we will have at least one new module or big feature regarding the UI. What we are focused in the next version is cleaning and refactoring code. We started working. We wanted to do that to be able to use the AI, the new LLM models for the configuration. So this is something that is our plan to. We plan to work on it for the next year. How to use LLM models to help us inside of the extension kit configuration. And we have one new feature that is limiting on-demand execution to n objects. That means, for example, because of certain performance or security or some kind of reason, you would like to get all the files, but only only execute 100 by 100 or 10 by 10, or send 100 emails, and then after 15 minutes 100 emails until you send all the 1000 emails, or you would like to send 1000 objects to the SQL, and then after 30 minutes 1000, and so on. You can now limit that to inside of the rule. These are the major stuff that will definitely go out in the next version, that will be in the January of 2025. And that's basically it regarding that. So for AI document kit, it's still in the version 0.5. It's not, it doesn't have version 1 because it's still not something that we would call it version 1. Trial version has been released in October. We had, I think, 20 requests for trial, and we have one feature request from the person who tried the AI kit. It's creating line items from invoices. That's something that is also planned for one of the next versions, so we'll work on it. So what were we doing now? And for the people who already know that, so you are able to use pre-built invoices, pre-built invoice model there. Also, you can do the custom classification. There are certain stuff that we've done around logging and licensing. So you can use pre-built model. You will then map those terms inside of AI kit, and when the invoice or some other document is called, then it will suggest you the terms, and you will click on it, the same as files EML is doing. What is our plan for the next version? And that would be 1.0, but as we are now having new versioning, it will be 25.1. So what we wanted to do with AI kit, so now you have the EML, and EML is it started with user interaction, so it's triggered by the user. What we wanted to do is in the AI kit have the same functionality and has same feeling that you have in the extension kit, so that you can configure rules. For example, if some document have confidentiality level more than 90, you can automatically put that inside of the document. So we started with VFE application. We finished that. We also combined EML and VFE application. So now when you install the AI kit, you have EML options, and also you have the VFE options. And you will only configure one. So when you configure, for example, VFE application, everything will be synced to EML, so you don't have to configure both. So both will be available inside of the configuration. So currently, what we are doing, we are building dashboard, so the dashboard have all informations. Our next plan is creating custom classification models through VFE, because we saw that, and we had a request from certain customers that have tried, that they would like that this model is learning on their examples and so on. So maybe we will combine receipts and invoicing model into one custom model, and we wanted to expand that so that we are able to quickly build a custom model for each customer that doesn't want to use pre-built model, or the pre-built model is not good enough for the certain customer. And then what we will do is we will add a feature that you can create the mFiles object through the suggestion, so that either as VFE in EML that it will suggest you, or you will configure that inside of the VFU application. So if this M file recognizes that this object doesn't exist inside of the M file, it's either an object or value list, item in the value list, it will be able to create one that is aligning it, creating the new lines from the invoice. And we wanted to add, so we know that M files have a classifier. We also have it here, and you can choose not to use it. But we wanted to also have the option so that when you start using the AI kit, maybe you will have a lot of documents that are not classified, or you will import that documents from the disk or from SharePoint, from some other place where documents are not stored and classified, not stored with the metadata and classified. We wanted to add an options to classify all this, that you can configure which document you would like to have classified, and then it will just go through the documents inside of the vault and classify it. And then you can also trigger metadata extraction based on the class. That's something that is already available. You can chain that. So for example, if it's invoice, go to invoice model. If it's a contract, go to contract model, and so on. So we wanted to add that also to that, so you can classify everything in bulk and also extract everything in bulk. That's all. Here is a sneak peek how a release candidate currently looks like in a dashboard, and it's all. So I'm ready for your questions.
All right. Thank you, Alan, for your presentation. So we are ready to address all of your questions now. We have a few questions so far, and I will read each one out loud. So let's start. The first question is, unzip is a nice functionality. How do you deal with the possible directory structure inside the zip?
We don't deal it. So we will pull all the documents out, and then based on the configuration, either each document will be a separate object, or we will put everything inside of the multi-file object.
Okay. The second one, will there also be a GitHub integration for version control in the archiving module?
Yeah, this is something that is on our list, but so how we are working, and I believe all of you that you're using the extension kit know how when we got a request, we will push if this is something that you need for the opportunity to win a project or something that will be top priority. If this is something that you would like to see, and we also have it on the list, we will push it up. So if you need that, or you think this will be a really good feature for you, send us an email, and we will push that up. So we have that in our plans, but we reprioritize based on, like I said, based on certain stuff.
Okay, thank you. The next question, how international is your pre-built invoice package?
So we can choose the language. I think all languages are supported over, I don't know, 200, 300. So we are using the Azure document intelligence service. So I think there are a lot of languages that are supported.
Great. Okay. The next question, AI classification, will that be based on machine learning from a group of already classified documents?
So AI classification is based on your vault. So it will. So you are configuring that in a way that you will choose which class you would like to use, and then it will send few examples to the service, and it will create the classification. It will learn from that classes and from that examples, and then it will be classified. So did I learn it? Did I answer it correctly? Will be based on the machine learning from our group already. So it will learn based on your vault and your examples of vault, but you need to configure which classes you would like to have classified.
Great. So that's it from the questions so far. I suggest that we give you a little bit more time in case you come up with more questions. In the meantime, I will just share some more additional information for you. So if you are interested in AI Document Kit, you can try it out for free. So all you have to do is fill out a short form and share some basic info about you and your company, and then we will get back to you and send you your trial license. The link to this short form is provided in the chat here, but you can also find it on our website. And the second thing that I wanted to tell you is if you want to try out all the new features and new modules in Extension Kit, you can download the new version in our download center and then start unlocking new possibilities and improve your mFiles experience even more. Okay, while I was saying that, no questions or no comments.
Yeah, I can comment one thing. It's
great.
Because we had these questions when we introduced this to one of our partners, the embedded dashboard. So the first question was, is Power BI supported? It isn't. Power BI doesn't allow embedding inside of this kind of dashboards. So Power BI is not supported, but signing pages for digital signing usually are. So all these in our region are allowing, and also if you have your custom services and local services, you can embed that inside of the info.
Great, thank you, Alan. One more question. Can you speak a bit about the security and data protection framework for AI classification? You mentioned using Azure. Would this be configured to run in a client tenant?
So there are a lot of different scenarios that we can do it here. So either we can use your own tenant if you have one, but how we are working, we are creating a new service for each partner. So everything is divided as in a new resource group and in as a new service. But it's if you don't have the tenant, it's on our tenant, but we don't have any access to it.
Okay, great. I believe that's it. So if you need any help or you want to discuss any of your use cases, you can always contact us either through our Toolkit community, either through our website. Both links are also provided here in the chat box. So if that's it, then we can wrap this up. Alan, do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So thank you all for joining us in this webinar. And all of us from UnitFly wish you all the best for upcoming holidays. Have some fun, also have some rest, and hopefully we'll see each other in our next webinar. Thank you.
Bye all.
Bye.